Hello, hello, beaters. Happy Friday. Spill the beads with Joyce Trowbridge. Hello, hello. Hi, Scott. Yes, it's a nice day outside, right? We need some rain though, and I'm ready for rain. Hello. Oh, this is going to be fun. We're going to play with the ceramic beads and delicas and make some beaded beads. I'm going to show how to do it with the needle and thread, but also the soft touch very fine. Hello, Sherry. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear me pretty okay because I was having some sound issues again. Hello, Kristen. Hi, Stacy. Welcome. Thank you. It's so good to be here. I love this. I'm really enjoying these Fridays. Time to create with such wonderful materials. Hello, Becky. Um, and there's like, I mean, we have just so many fun beads, but also the string materials that Softlex has create so many different things. And we're going to make some beaded beads on Spilled Beads with Joyce Trowbridge today. I am excited too. Oh, good. I'm glad that the sound is working better now. For a moment there, it wasn't doing so good, um, and it seems like I got my lighting fixed, and then the sound went funny. So it's one thing or another, right? And that's okay because we got beads to play with, right? I'm wearing my necklace that I made last week. See, I don't know where the camera is. There it is. And I've been wearing this several times this week because I just love it. And my bracelet. Did you, Becky? Oh, I cannot wait and see what you did with yours. I've seen a few people already posting it, and it's just so neat to see what other people do with these kind of projects. Thank you. Hi, Zach. Welcome. Oh, so fun to see all these wonderful people on here. Are we ready? Are we ready to do this? By the way, we have the our closeout sale going on right now. And these products are not on there, but I saw some square dells that I'm going to grab because I think the square dells are going to be really fun to put in between these beaded beads. So I'm going to be grabbing those so that I can work on some projects. I also saw that some of the fall, like if you, our very first one was with the Halloween Hustle bead mix, and there's a few left, and those are on sale. We got the closeout link in the comments there. So you should like pick up some of those things because there's fun. The donut. Did you see the donut that Sarah used on Wednesday? And then I saw that Kristen, you are going to be using those pop outs on Monday for your live. Is that at 1 Pacific time? I think that's at 1. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff in the outlet, but we also have our special closeout sale going on that is taking a few things of a little bit extra off of fall style things. So I'm going to be using those square nails in between because I was like, ooh, that adds a little blink, especially the one, my like kind of holiday using the vintage Christmas delicas. 1P. That's awesome. I can't wait to watch that, Kristen. I really need to get some of those and start painting them myself because I haven't done that yet. That red jasper is fabulous, Melissa. Yeah, you got to grab some of those fall colors uh, that they have. It's wonderful. The vintage holiday delicas are sold out. Does that mean we need to get more? Who missed out on the vintage holiday delicas and want more? like that button, give me a little loves, show me that you want some more of those, and then we'll see if we can grab some. But we do have the I'm going to get the names wrong, so I apologize. The tea rose and the Arctic something. Robin, you want some of those vintage? I think they're beautiful. I mean, they're such these delicas are bundles that we had Daniel Wicks put together for us. Yeah, Arctic Circle and red rose tea, red rose tea. Those mixes are just wonderful too. So, but and they're making some really pretty beads on here. All right, let's get some beaded beads going, right? Are we ready for that? Let's get me off of here. You don't need to see me. You want to see the beautiful project. So I'm doing these are on the ceramic beads that we have. I got bundles, so I have all of them. And some of these beads will look beautiful on the other colors too, because we have like kind of a reddish, a more red than this burgundy. We have some purples, which I think would look really pretty with some of these colors. We have black and white, and then a dark blue too, which I think the dark blue would be really fun on this. For sure. These would make really pretty garlands. Nice. Add a little, or make them into some ornaments that you can add to like a gift package as a little tag. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with these. I'm going to turn this one with some of those squared L's into a bracelet because I think, look at this, the topaz, simple cuts, and then rondelles. And I think we need like one other little thing. I saw some 4mm and some 7mm in the closeout that I think might work in between, so that I want to grab so that we can do that and make a cute little bracelet. And then I'm thinking about making some tassel earrings out of the Arctic Circle ones that I did. So let's get started with these beautiful. Hello, Dana. Welcome. Okay, let's see. Which one should I show first? Let's show. Now we have some needles. I'm using the size 10 needle out of our needle pack. And then depending on what color beads you're using, you're either going to use that silver or the gold. I used the gold on this one, and I used the silver on this one. And then, oh, we're going to get the tea rose. I actually used the soft flex, very fine. So all of these are made the same way. This one's with the needle and thread, and one is with the very fine soft touch. We're going to pull out. I want you to be able to see the beads, and that's kind of like, I know that the silver doesn't show off as much, so let's do the gold so that it's just going to show up a little bit better. I have a bead stopper to help keep things, and then scissors. That's really all I'm using. I love my background fabric too. My mom found it and put it up there. Oh, is my camera off focus? Okay. Let's see if sometimes the trick is to bring something very close. On my phone, it looks like the camera looks like it is focused. On the screen, it doesn't look like it's focused. So is it a broadcasting issue? Hmm. see. Let's. Ooh, maybe that's what is. Oh, it could be. I feel like that might be what it is. Come on, connection. Let's be helpful and have a nice connection. Well, I hope so. It'd be great. I know sometimes that's the problem is that um, the connection using the bandwidth, how much bandwidth is available at what times can really change how it works out. Let's start out. We're going to start out with the thread and needle, and then we're going to move on over to the very fine. Now, I'm not going to put as many on here as we need because we are, just doing this for our little show. But as you can see, we're going to fill it up with beads. You could fill it up with as many loops of beads as you want. I like to have a little space. I'm okay with them moving around. They're going to move around a little bit, but that's fine with me. You can always fill it up more, or if you want to, you can always tack it down a teeny bit with a little glue once you've got them made. But personally, I like the movement. I do love, if you've never worked with seed beads this small, delicas are nice because the cylinder shape is so much easier to thread through because the holes are bigger than they appear. So it's a lot easier to kind of pop your needle or your Softflex through. I am so excited that Softflex started carrying them. They they chose the right place to get them because these are screwed on to caps. Most of the time you have caps that you have to pull out and then you spill all over. These screw on ones are like a lifesaver. I love them. So I'm just going to pour a teeny bit of each color out. Ooh, but then you could still spill your beads. And it is spilled beads with Joyce, so it makes sense that we're going to spill some beads. We'll pick those up later. Let's just scoop them over. Of course, of course. Let's move those over, pick those beads up later. We're going to want those for a project, I'm sure. For sure, we're going to spill them, and that's okay. We're not going to cry over spilled beads. We're going to just pick them up later and use them. Right now, we're going to fill this up. There we go. So I'm cutting off about, I usually just cut off like an arm's length, from the end of my hand to my nose is about a yard, and that's usually what I cut off. I'm going to thread my needle. If you can use a big eye needle too for this, which is very handy, but these size 10s are lovely because they have a little bit larger eye. The 10s are bigger than the 12s, by the way, if you've never done this before. I like to get my thread between my fingers and then aim the eye down between my fingers and kind of wiggle back and forth, and that usually gets it in there pretty well. Okay, it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get that going, it works out lovely. It is sunny outside, but in my little craft garage that I have here, it is cold. Now I just realized how cold it's getting in here. And then we're going to grab, oh, we didn't grab we need to grab a ceramic bead, right? You can put your bead stopper. Now, I like the minis. Did you see that there's some closeout on the some of the minis? Uh, you should grab some of the minis are great for thread. Right now, though, I only have the larger one, so I'm going to just put the larger one on so that I don't, this doesn't just pull right on out. So I'm just going to go up through my ceramic bead. And this is an easy, easy thing for this. We are just, if you noticed, I don't go all the way. So that means to the hole. Like I don't, because they'll pop into the hole and then they're going to pop into the hole kind of anyway because these are large holes. But they tend to pop in more if you go all the way up. So I only go so that it's like the height of the bead, whatever bead that I'm wrapping around. And the reason I do that is just one to keep the beads from flipping through, but also it just kind of helps with the height. And then so what I do to cover that is I make sure that I put some kind of bead, you know, usually like a 6mm bead or a little spacer bead. But like if you just put a bead next to it like that, you're not going to notice it. It's going to cover it. You can also add bead caps or flat discs, lots of little things to cover those edges if you don't like the thread showing. But I think it's just part of the beauty of a beaded bead. So to get that height, it is 10 delicas for these ceramic beads. Simple. So we're just gonna load up 10 delicas of my first color. I suggest if you've never done this, do a solid one first, like I did here with the mauve on this pink one. And again, you can fill this up more or less, however you want them to look. Solid will be easier to do at first because then you don't have to worry about keeping it in order. And we need to get 4 more on here. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Once I have my 10, I like to count them while they're on the needle just to double check. It's so much easier to kind of see that I have the correct amount while it's on the needle instead of letting it drop off into onto the thread. And then I'm going to pull this down. Whoop, but not all the way because it'll go right through the hole. Now for the thread, I find that it's actually better sometimes to tie the tail and the working thread at the same time. But today I'm just going to go right through. So I'm letting the beads kind of hang out, let gravity work for me and let it hang out on the loop on the mat. take my needle through, back around from the tail end through the ceramic bead. And pull that up. And then we're going to try to get this as close to the bead cap as, or the bead stopper as possible without those beads falling through. And you're going to try keep that taut. Now that's the key. While we are going to go grab the next loop, I am going to hold this so that I'm going to wrap this thread around in my fingers so I keep it nice and taut. If I let go, the thread is so light that it just kind of like loosens, and then the beads start popping through the hole of the ceramic. And now I'm going to do my next color. And just getting 10 of these beautiful beads. So one thing that I do with my needle is I kind of keep it as level to the table as possible, and then it's more of a pop down into the bead instead of poking. So it's, if I aim that tip towards the bead and just kind of press down, it kind of lets the tip of the needle go through the delica easier, and then I just kind of push forward and it goes on there pretty easily in that way. Once you get comfortable with grabbing your seed beads onto your needle, it makes it much quicker. But don't worry, if you've never done it or you're just starting, it's going to take some time. And again, I just count them before. Sandy, I am using the ceramic beads that we have, and then delicas size 11s for the outside. Using Miyuki thread in gold right now. And a size 10 needle. Thank you, Thomas, for putting those links. If anyone's interested, the links are in the comments. You can take a look at what materials that we are using. And then I'm going through the ceramic bead. Now the first few, I have some casualties. Oh no, some of the gold beads fell through because I wasn't paying attention, because I was pulling it and looking at the screen to make sure I was in camera still. And so I need to pick those ones out. Once I get like a good 4 or loops in this, usually they stay put and you don't have this problem. But just scoop them out. See, I'm just using my needle to scoop them back out. I accidentally got pulled away from, do you see how I got pulled away from with the bead stopper? So I'm going to move this bead stopper. Instead of trying to move the thread, I'm going to move the bead stopper, because that's going to be easier for me. Boom. There we go. And remember, the working thread we need to keep taut. So I'm going to keep that in my hand. And then I'm going to do my next color. So I'm going to do 10 of the green now. So even though I'm putting this in this order, if I accidentally loop my colors in the around and they did not go into the correct order, I'm going to end up, whoop, got 11. We only want 10. We just want to keep, once you've established your color pattern after this third color, you're just going to want to make sure you're always picking up the correct color. So I'm going to go in to the ceramic bead, pull, and there we go. Once I've established a few of these, I like to put my thumb and my finger. See how I'm now putting my thumb and my finger over the holes and keeping it pinched this way. And now I don't have to hold on to my thread as tight because I'm pinching the bead between my fingers. So I'm going to go to the next. So because of the way I'm holding it, even though it should be my gold next, the way I'm holding it is the gold's here. So I'm actually going to grab the green again because I want it to go next to this gold here. So just be aware of where you're at when you're doing the color change. This is why if you just do one solid color for your first one, it kind of makes it a little easier. There we go. Go up through. Put my needle. So I did not slide those down onto the thread yet, and that's okay because with my finger and my thumb pinching there, if you look at this, my needle's gliding past, and then this part of my thumb is going to keep my beads, well, sometimes it does, keeps my beads from going into the holes. There we go. And it just pulls. So keeping it pinched between my fingers does that. And I'm going to just move it over to the side. Now I can do another one. And you just keep wrapping this around, doing alternating between your colors if you're doing an color change. And I'm just doing 10 beads on each one. Hello, welcome. And I'm just going to pop that needle through, get my thumb to keep those beads from falling through the whole of the ceramic. Move it over and just keep going, keep going, keep going. We are going to pretend that we did the whole thing. I roughly have 12 on here. You probably could do 15. Since I'm doing 3 colors, I want to do it in multiples of 3. 15 would be great. It will show still some of that background color. And if you want it more full, I would say 18. For sure, these are going to make some really pretty earrings, especially when I get those square nails. I'm excited about the square nails. I haven't used those in so long. I used to have a bunch of those, and it was a thing for a while there. Um, and they just add such a neat sparkle. So we're going to I'm going to put one more row because I'm going to show you how to end it. It is so easy to end these. Easier than it should be. Because all we're going to do is tie a knot. It's that simple. Okay, so we're going to put okay. So the very last one, I can't use my thumb trick because we don't want to go through. We want to bring this down, and now we're going to take our tail. So that means I need to remove my bead stopper. Oh, that's great. You had a day off so you can catch this easier. Nice. And then I'm going to just slide this as close as I can without pulling. If I pull on it too much, it's going to want to push those little delicas into the ceramic bead. The more wraps you do, the more the hole is going to be filled, so it's not going to go in there as much, but they still will want to go in there. They are slippery little guys. And now I'm going to tie a square knot, and I'm going to try to keep the tie kind of on this side. Now, if you notice, I'm letting it stay on my mat, and I'm sorry that it's kind of like maybe a little. fuzzy. And I'm going to try to tie this without lifting up because gravity works against us on this part. And I'm just going to get this really as close as I can, making sure that the beads don't fall into the knot. Like that. Now, of course, you would fill up this way more than I just did. And then we're going to tie it again. Wrap it around. Easy peasy, just doing a little square knot. Whoosh. And then I like to do one more with the extra twist, like a surgeon's knot. Now that I got two of them, I can kind of let it go onto its side and hold it a little bit easier and just, oops, I want to get this in one more time. Oh, thank you. This ring is, my honey made that for me. It's one of the first ones he made for me. There we go. And yes, the knot right now looks like it's on that side, but the really cool thing is once I go through the hole again, I can pull this and it will pull the knot into the hole of the ceramic bead, and it's hidden. It's hidden in there. Now it's in there and you cannot see that little knot. You can, before you do that part, if you want to, you can add a little glue onto that knot so you don't have to worry about it coming apart. But I'm just going to willy-nilly it and cut off because I know that that knot's inside there, and those are little tails, and these well, this one I got to fill up more anyway, which I will after. I don't even have to take this apart. What's great is, like, if you're not sure and you want to stop, you can always stop, tie it off like this, and then you can add a whole new one if you wanted to. But when I am ready to string it on something, like whether I use wire, craft wire, or beading wire, to string it on into a project, that's what's going to be holding everything, so I'm not going to worry about it. And there's still a nice big gap in that hole so that I can string whatever material I want through it. All right, so that is how you do it with needle and thread. If you are intimidated by the needle and thread, just because threading the needle is kind of hard sometimes when in the beginning, or even after you've been doing it for a long time, it's hard. You can also do it with soft touch, very fine, which comes, I'm going to be using just the original, but it comes in black and white also, which can be very helpful for some colors. I'm just going to cut off a piece of that. About the same, yeah, I got about like 2.5, 3 feet. And we are going to grab another one, another bead. Now, one nice thing about this, it is stiff enough that I don't need a needle, so I can just string it the same way. So I'm going to grab and put my bead stopper. I usually do about maybe 4 to 6 inches at the end, just so I have enough of a tail to tie. We're going to run up through the ceramic bead. And get our same count 10 delicas work really great on these ceramic beads. Count, what do I got? 7, 8, 9. You can do it. 10. Oh no, not 11. 10. Again, if I hold with, kind of block those holes a little bit with my thumb and my finger and run the soft flex up through. Whoopsie. We have wonderful people. Yes, thank you, all our veterans in our beading family, whether they are part of our beading family or related to our beading family. We appreciate all that you do, all that you have done for us. We're going to pull this up through. There we go. And this one I'm going to just put the gold on. I'm just going to do mix in with my bracelet some solids. So let's just go. I'll have to pour more. I should have done the red because that's the one I spilt more out, shouldn't I? Probably could see it better too. I apologize for using the one that we sold out, but I think we should be getting some more of these. Even, I mean, they're just in general really pretty. It's a really pretty gold and a really pretty green and like a burgundy red. Uh-oh, I lost count. Now, one trick, if you are like me and you kind of get distracted with counting and then you end up having to count, oh gosh, let's bump the camera. That helps. 7, 7, and you end up counting all the time. You could make little piles of 10, and that will help you, especially if you know that, okay, I'm going to make 12 rows. You can make 12 piles of 10 on your mat, and then you know that you have your beads ready to go and you can just kind of string them on. And then that way, if you're doing, I mean, sometimes we get to bead on our own, but sometimes we have family that want to talk to us, or we're watching a show or something like that. And so to help make it a little less use less concentration and a little bit more casual by counting out your piles first really helps. And again, I'm just kind of like pressing down near the tip. I'm not even really paying attention to whether or not I get it in the hole. Just the magic of beading is that if you get it close to it and you press down, it just wants to tip the bead so that the hole and the needle or the beading wire just glides right in to the hole. They align. And you're just going to keep going around until you have a full beaded bead. One nice thing about the using the soft touch is that because it has a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure what the word is, but it's not as, it is heavier than the thread, so therefore it has more weight to it, I guess. Is that what it is that I'm looking for? I don't think that's the word description I need, but it kind of holds its own, like, and so when I let go, I don't have to worry about these loosening up nearly as much as what thread does. The thread, oh, I guess it is kind of the weight of it, because the weight of it next to the weight of the beads, the weight of the beads is not too heavy to pull it away, whereas with the thread, it likes to pull a little bit more away from the project, so it becomes looser. So I can actually put this down and like come back to it. We are gonna put, oh, maybe this one's gonna be like the art. So this one here, I did the 3 colors and I did just sets of 4. And again, I probably could, I kind of liked the way this turned out with it show just kind of bundled up and then letting those show. But if you wanted to, you can add more in there. I was just kind of playing around and then they move. It's fun. Um, so maybe that's what I'll do with this, and I'll just go into the next color so that I can show you how to end it, because it's going to be the same thing. We're going to tie a knot. That's all we're going to do. That's the great thing about the soft touch very fine. It's very easy to knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I'm going to bring it down, let it lay, and then grab the bead stopper off. Pull that a little tighter. And then I'm going to bring this over, and we're going to start a knot. If you want to, you could probably use a crimp too, but then it's going to be a little harder to hide the crimp and get the crimp in properly, where with the knotting technique on this, oh, don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go in there. There it is. Just shake it a little. Take your time. Don't try to rush it. When we rush it, that's when we kind of pull things out of whack. Give yourself some grace and some time and patience. You deserve it. And then run through. And again. And I like to get this third one with an extra twist in it. It is just the way my brain works. It's not, I don't think, necessary, because I've done it without it. It's just, I don't know, one of those things that makes my brain happy. So I do it. And then pull. Pop that in there like that. And then I can just cut those off. I'm not going to cut it off because I'm going to just continue beading and and finish that off later so that we can have a sample of a finished project. I am going to just take a picture of what we worked on today for our posts, and then work on more a finished piece so that you can see a finished piece. That's my plans for my weekend. I love that I get to bead more. It's so fun. But as you can see, the knots inside, you can't see it. It's not on the edges, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, before you pull it through into there, if you wanted to, you can add a little glue. If I remember right, um, we used glue. The the specialty glue is the glue that works really good on the knots on this. I did a project with Sarah years ago with some, I think it was dragon scales that made these cute little flowery things from, it was from her book, her and Kristen's book. That was a fabulous book. Kristen, if you're on there, do you remember what was the name of that one with the seed beads and it was like soft flex and seed bead book that you and Sarah did. I don't know if she's still on. I love that book. There's so many great projects in there, and I believe it's specialty glue that was used on there. But that's all these simple beaded beads are, is looping 10 beads around and around and around and around until you have as many as you want. These can be done in so many different colors. We have these wonderful bundles, although we're out of this color mix that I'm using today, but we do have, I really love the Arctic Circle has this matte like turquoise with a little bit of a AB sheen to it. And then the silver is not really like a full silver. It's kind of like a gray luster color to it. And then this dark blue, midnight blue. And then the tea rose has, now I have the mauve on the pink ceramic, but there is this dusty red, which also has kind of a vintage tone to it. And this one is the rose pink, which has kind of like a carnation color to it. So they say rose pink, but so and then this, yeah, this is the dusty mauve. And then of course we have the rainbow set that has almost all the colors. Unfortunately, the orange is out of stock and not available for restock until for a couple more months. But it has the rest of the rainbow and silver and gold and black and white, which all these colors can mix up some really pretty combinations. If you still need something for like the fall before we get into festive, you can either use that red, the orange red or the orange yellow, and then some of as a background, and that would make it some very festive, you know, with the greens or with the yellows or the golds, would make them very pretty. These are some of the other colors in the ceramic beads that we have that I did not use yet. Look at all those colors. So it's endless possibilities of color combinations that you can do. You can turn that rainbow set for the most part, have like all the colors. So if you have people that are like sports, you could do like some sport themed beaded beads with their colors. Use like the white or the black for a background if we don't have a right ceramic bead, and do the colors of their sport team. The white is a fabulous background, I think, for almost just about every color. So that would make it really nice. Let's get back over here. So that is my little beaded beaded bead tutorial. I don't know which one I like better. I don't know if I like the thread better or the soft touch fine. I like them both. They both have their pros and cons. Um, so do you tell me if you make these, let me know what you like better. Did you like the thread and needle better, or did you like the very fine soft touch better? I would love to know what you think. I'm like torn between the two. I like how the soft touch has a little bit more substance, so it's easier to hold and it doesn't loosen up as much. But I also really like the fact that you can use some of the thread of the color is a little more blendy, and I think it's a if you have never worked with a needle and thread, this is a great way to kind of like get used to needle and thread without um, without like it's just an easier project, so you don't have to worry about like splitting the thread and going through beads multiple times. You only have to go through the big hole ceramic multiple times. What will I do with my finished piece? I am going to make with my these ones for sure. I am going to finish up a few more and make a bracelet with them. um, and I'm going to mix them with our simple cut in this topaz. Let's put that back up on here. Oh, let's remove that one. I'm going to put the simple cut topaz beads in between. I'm also going to grab some of the there's a couple of the square-dells that I think would look really pretty with this. So I'm going to grab some square-dells and the simple cuts, and I'm going to make a bracelet with those in between and make a very holiday bracelet for myself. I am planning on making a pair of earrings with this color because it matches a dress that I have. And then I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this one yet. So stay tuned. You're going to see some earrings and a bracelet. Ah, you're welcome. I cannot wait to see what you make. Please share. I would love to see what if anyone makes something from this with our ceramic beads and our delicas, especially if you are using the soft touch. I would love to see what the soft touch very fine, and post it on our Softflex VIB Facebook group. Cannot wait to see. I have more beads. I just realized I'm sitting on some beads because we spilled the beads earlier. Of course, we spilled the beads. It spilled the beads with Joyce. No. Are we at there? I think it's because of that. I think my sound is coming through my beat mat. Um, So that must be what it is. I removed it off of the thing because I didn't think you needed to see it, but apparently you do so that you can hear me. So stay tuned. Kristen's going to be on Monday, 1 p.m. with her painting the pop-ups with her. Um, and then that's true. This is the third show. I love it. We're doing great. I hope you're having fun. I have fun with this, even with the little oopsies and the spill the beads. Thank you for a wonderful Friday. Spill the beads with Joyce Trowbridge, Soft Flex Company. Bye.